Hello, designers, and welcome back to part three of our tutorial series on using Photoshop mockups. We're working on some packaging, and in part three here specifically, we're going to cut a window in our package so that we can display the product through it. So back to Photoshop, this is the mockup that we've been working in. We're going to concentrate specifically on this lateral side view of the box and all the moves that we need to make. I'm going to go ahead and collapse the background. I made one small adjustment to it so it looked a little nicer back there while you were all away. Everything we need to do, we can do right up here. I'm actually not even going to work inside of the lateral box folder. I'm going to work just above it. So I'm going to pass a layer back to this file from another mockup. So I do want to leave this activated so that when I come back, the layer that I'm going to pass over here as a duplicate is just above this lateral face box layer. Now, I'm going to pretend that this is a luchador t-shirt that would be in that box, and I want to cut out a tall vertical window. So what I did to save me a lot of work simulating the fabric, getting the graphic over the fabric, and also getting some lighting on it, I went ahead and put the graphics into a ready-made folded t-shirt mock-up. And all I really have to do from here, now that I have this the way that I want, is take the whole shoot and match and turn it so that the shirt is facing the right direction. Um, and pretty much straight up and down vertically. I'm going to go ahead and commit to that. And then I'm going to use the rectangle marquee. Let me go ahead and flatten this because I'm going to have to do it sooner or later. So first I had to merge the group. Now I'm going to flatten so that when I pass it over the other way, it's ready to go and use. And now what I'm going to do is rectangle marquee the area of the shirt that I want to use in my window. And I'm going to go out here a little farther than I want and then come back into the highlights so I get a nice range of light here. Now what I can do is image crop right to that area, turn off. This is what I'm looking at. Here's my graphic. It's recognizable based on what's on the outside of the package. It has this nice fabric texture. The color looks good. Okay, now I'm going to pass this layer, which is now flat image, back to the mockup that I'm working in. So right click, duplicate layer. And then here under the destination section, if I hit the document drop down and go back to, I think, product box, I think it's that one, hopefully, fingers crossed. And now I come back to my mockup and here it is up here. We get the move tool and boom. So this is called background. I'm going to go ahead and rename this best practice. This is my shirt and I'm going to get this on the box where it goes and sized appropriately. So I'm thinking something like here-ish. I just want it centered on the side there and kind of appropriate height. I'm thinking box. I suppose technically that would be a little bigger in there, but really we're looking at process here. Okay, you are not going to believe how simple the rest of this is. Number one, I'm going to double click on this shirt layer to open up the layer style dialog box. And everything I need to do is right here. And pretty much Photoshop will do just about all of it for me. So move number one is inner shadow in here. So I'm going to activate that with the checkbox, and I have my preview enabled so I can see what's happening. And then what I want to do in here is put this on multiply because we are talking about a shadow, and add some distance to this. And what I like to do when I'm looking at things is crank these sliders way up and down so I can see what's going on. I think actually, yeah, this one is just to, not that, change this, the style of it. All right, I'm actually back to where I was. Ah, I need to change the angle of this thing, and my shadow should be coming across the same way that my lighting is in the entire mock-up. Is that right? Am I doing something wrong here? All right, I'm gonna leave this here for a minute. Let's go up to bevel and emboss, which I'm going to turn on, and I want contour there. This is not showing any preview of what I'm expecting to see. Here we go. Let me turn up the size slightly. I'm up to about 17 pixels. I want this on down, and you can see the preview over on this. Depth, soften, good. I want inner bevel and smooth and not you and this. Here we go. And not linear dodge. I want lighten or soft light. I think overlay. Overlay. And my multiply, I want to be able to see that a little dark. So there's 20 and 20, about like this. Okay. I want, actually, instead of this round, I think I figured out that, no, that's the one. And let me just size this back just a little, okay. And all I'm missing is seeing the cutouts on there, which should be the inner shadow, which isn't showing quite. Nope, that is right. It's the contour. And that's what I'm looking for right there. And not texture. Here we go. Stroke inside. Put that on about 7. Put it on lighten, and now you can see I've got my cutout edges on here the way I want. I can turn this up opacity wise a little to highlight. Remember, we're going for subtle. Color fill, I can adjust the color and make sure this matches my light blue on here, just about like that. All right, and that is it. That puts our window in here. If I wanted, we have just a minute. If I wanted, what I could do is put, let me go back, do a brightness contrast layer above this. And what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to cut in my highlights. So I want to go darker, slightly darker, which it should be inside of there. And then I'm going to paint in the mask with a brush, a soft brush. I'm on soft brown. And I want to paint with white so that I can block that darkness from that brightness contrast layer. And what I'm going to do is, so the light is shining this way, that would give me a highlight, something like this across here, and that's not showing at all. Right, because I need to fill this black first. Okay, so I'm gonna fill the entire mask black. I just did a quick keystroke, but if you hit Shift Delete is the shortcut for edit fill. And then I would just put this slider on black, hit OK, and that would fill black. Um, and now what'll happen when I paint white, it'll block the brightness contrast adjustment layer, making this lighter. This is actually going the other way, and that's fine. I'll just work backwards for a minute and then switch the adjustment. So I'm putting in highlights. I'm just doing it backwards. And then the light, also really big, is kind of going to shine here. And I want to give this one more really light stamp through there. Okay, last move. Last two moves. Create a clipping mask so that this only applies to my cutout layer underneath. And then now I need to adjust my adjustment. You can see if I go all the way up with the brightness, these are the highlights that I painted in. And if I take that down so that it's just nice and subtle in there, somewhere around here, 23, and then flip it off and on, you can see how that gives me a nice little highlight that matches my lighting. I could, if I really wanted, take this layer and add just a little bit of noise, a little dust and scratches. And you want to keep these things, again, very gentle while you're in there. This just kind of takes the edge off the vector graphics. So I would say that is plenty. And there you go. All right, I hope you enjoyed this series and found it helpful. Happy mockups and prototyping.